Welcome to the Nerdtastic in 3D podcast.
It's Nerdtastic in 3D. Oh, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. Yes, it's Nerdtastic in 3D. It's Nerdtastic
in 3D.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Xbox One.
TV experience. TV. TV and movies. TV. Xbox. Watch TV. 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 Watch TV. TV. TV and TV remote. TV experience. TV. 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 Sports TV. 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 Anybody? TV. TV. MTV. TV. 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 Xbox. Go home.
TV. 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 TV.
Sports, 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 sports,
Sport. Television. Television. TV. Television.
Television, 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 TV, TV, TV. Xbox is about to become the next water cooler. Sports.
Television, television, television. I'm thrilled to announce a live-action Halo television series.
Television, TV, sports, sports, sport.
Television,
TV. TV. For Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, an entirely new Call of Duty for the next generation. Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty,
Call of Duty, Call of Duty. One of the fascinating new additions to your squad is a dog. This is someone you care about. Call of Duty, 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 Call of Duty. All of the new story element. Call of Duty,
Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty.
Our new dog model is taken from high-resolution scans of an actual SEAL Team service dog.
Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty.
Xbox. Go home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nerdtastic in 3D, episode number 67.
64?
64? I don't know, I put 63. We're 60-something.
I think we're 64.
Hey, we're going to change the name to Nerdtastic in 3D 1.
Starting over, it's like the first comic. Right, guys?
Yep.
Standing?
No.
Nerdtastic now.
If you're just joining us, for the first time, Nerdtastic in 3D is an entertainment industry podcast, and we are a bunch of entertainment industry veterans that work all over the place, talking to you about anything and everything that we find entertaining and or nerdy. My name is Jason Carter. I work for Walt Disney Studios.
Josh LeBrut, and I work at DreamWorks Animation.
Jason Pecco, work at Disney Mobile.
Sean Fennell, I work at DreamWorks Animation. Sean Kearney, I work for No Man, but I work at Disney Mobile.
Adam McFarland, I work on the U.S. version of Top Gear.
Not just work, you're a producer.
I do some stuff there.
You're the Top Gear. Hey,
good time. That's a lie.
Joke.
I wear the Top Gear hat out sometimes.
Yeah?
And
the top hat?
And the top hat. And anytime somebody looks at it, and they go, U.S. or British? And I'm like, oh, this is from the U.S. So they go, and then they
had some lady
shoo me away like I'm like evil.
What would they think if you said up your bum to that question?
This chick at Best Buy, I'm buying my iPad, and she literally that's not from the U.S. version, is it? And I'm like, yes, it is. She's like, I hate that version.
And did you say you were?
I'm like, that's all right. It's just been paying my bills for last.
That's all right. It hates you.
Like, what? I was like, yeah, I work on it.
It hates you.
Like,
too.
oh well, it's just not as good as the Brit.
Backpedal.
I'm like, lady, I don't really care.
Buy an iPad, you know?
Yeah. I was like,
you're not as good as the British version either.
Aren't we all?
So, my goodness, do we have an incredible amount of stuff to cover this week.
It just was a lot of Xbox.
Yeah, it's really not that much.
Well, we're not going to talk about that for that long.
Thing.
So.
There is, surprisingly, a lot of other stuff that's
Xbox One,
worth noting.
What, like the Halo TV series they announced at the Xbox One event? Or the new Kinect they announced at the Xbox One event?
About sports at the Xbox One
Oh,
event?
what about sports?
So let's talk about...
How about dogs? There were a lot of dogs there.
Yeah.
Let's start off by talking about something that was very conveniently timed. We have talked at length on this show about the Unity game engine. And I know that Jay and Sean, you guys have actually used it before. I've developed on it. You guys are, looking at it for future projects probably. And something that was really, really fun. This has been an incredible interesting company to follow from a business standpoint because their product is free. They have a free version and they have a professional version where you get more advanced features. But it wasn't always free. Used to cost $500 or something like that for a seat, I think. And then in 2007, I think it was, they decided it was going to be a free engine. And they went from 16,000 followers to 2 million followers, or 2 million people using it. So it was this huge explosion of interest. And they have always dreamed. There's an interesting video on the Unity website that talks about their dream has always been to create a next-gen, like super convenient and crisp tool set that you can give to anybody. And the goal there is to allow more people to develop games that maybe wouldn't have developed games before, and for people who develop games to make them better, more inexpensive, and hopefully just a better product all around. And so their dream has always been to give a lot of their product away for free. And up until yesterday, there were certain products that were free, certain that you had to pay for. They have a $1,500 Pro license. And then if you wanted to develop for mobile platforms, it was $400 per platform. So if you wanted to develop for the iOS, you could use the free engine with a $400 add-on, and then you could deploy to iOS. And they announced yesterday that from here on going forward, all of their mobile offerings are going to be just as free as the basic version of their engine.
Yeah, they said not only is iOS and Android free, but they said they're preparing a Win 8 one, and when it's ready, it's free.
And BlackBerry. But and is it worth mentioning?
Yeah, no, it's funny because I think Unity is also working on a time machine, and they're going to go back in time to when BlackBerry was relevant, and they're going to allow you to publish that as well.
I noticed it, I think it was Monday that BlackBerry came out with a tablet also.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it called a Playbook? Didn't that come out
They
like 3
had
years
one.
ago?
Yeah, they've had one for a while, but I think they did something
new,
like a new tablet. Yeah. Well, they just changed their name. They're no longer Research in Motion. They're now just BlackBerry. And it bothered the hell out of me because I got a alert from CNN at 8 o'clock in the morning one morning telling me of this.
Rim jobs available? Is that the
nothing about the Oklahoma
research and
tornado?
No, not important.
You don't need to know about that.
Yeah, you probably heard of that one.
But
that's clever.
So,
and then that was good too.
Thank you.
You know, I think this is super relevant to you guys. I think if you look at the last 5 years of what's happened in the game industry, mobile has had an explosion of growth unlike any other area of the game industry. Now, it may not still be the highest grossing for the industry, but it certainly is had this incredible explosion of growth. And I know that's the industry you guys are in. And so for this idea to have a really great tool set available to the masses for free, and now to be able to deploy that for free to that emerging market, it's really, really exciting.
And I mean, like $400 is not like a huge amount of money, for a developer, I guess. But for indies, like for somebody by themselves who's trying to get into it, like that it could be a fair amount of money. And even for small studios, you multiply that license by 4, 5, 6 people. Yeah. You're taking that off, and I think that it's just great for the industry in general. You can see a lot more cool single person, 2, 3 people develop games that are going to come out.
It's just crazy that you can, like right now, you can go and for free download a game engine and learn how to use it for free online and make a little game, and the engine you're using and the place you're deploying it to, not only are you using the engine that probably 3 of the top 10 games on the App Store right now used, but you're also deploying it, giving it the same shelf space that those games had. That's pretty crazy, like thinking back to even, I mean, much less just last gen, but thinking back to like the days of like the NES where every game needed, you needed a dev kit, you needed all this stuff, and then you needed to get it approved by Nintendo. And now it's just like, just go download this thing on the internet. It's like, how do I use it? Go look on the internet and you can see how to use it.
But development, from what I understand, I obviously never developed for NES, but development's much like it was back then, where it was a single programmer.
That's true.
Could create an entire game by himself. And now with this mobile and Unity and all the information available, I mean, you probably could create a game completely by yourself. I mean, obviously, people have different talents. You probably want to make the best product possible and bring other people in, but still, like, it's possible.
Yeah, no, and just the fact that, like, even then, like the small teams, like just that the tools are so accessible now is
like you don't have to spend time. You don't have to spend
everybody.
money on middleware. You don't have to spend time building your own software. You just start. All you need a computer, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
And you don't even need a necessarily powerful computer.
Yeah, it's
true.
I'm waiting for all the Japanese and South Korean, North Korean high school kids to get a hold of this and just start busting out crazy shit.
Well, so this, I did have two thoughts. One, how awesome is this? That it's a product that I develop games myself, as a hobby, but $400. It's that's as a single person, that's not a single developer. I mean, it's not a cheap thing to do. As a company, not that big a deal. But so the fact that it's free is huge. But the second thing I was thinking about is, so what does this mean? We're going to suddenly have, because the App Store is just flooded with, let's be honest, a lot of subpar games.
Yeah.
So are we just going to see that grow exponentially?
I don't know.
There's still a barrier of entry to make a game with Unity. Like, the fact that the tool's there is great, but it's like you still need to learn how to program. Like, it's not like a easy drag and drop sort of thing.
Yeah, and on top of that, like, how often do you go and search through the App Store anyway? Like, you usually look at the featured stuff, or you read blogs, and the blogs tell you what to look for, but you're not just like kind of combing through the App Store. So I think as long as they're still, the top 100 and all that stuff, like those things will filter to the top if they're good, or certain websites will pick them up.
Right.
It's also important to note that apparently the Ouya guys have been going around, the people selling the Ouya, the Android console that's coming out next month, they've been going around and saying that their big push for indies is they're saying we're going to do a better job of filtering and curating where our apps are. Because that is the Apple App Store, strangely enough, or it's probably a terrible thing, does an even better job than Android. There's a thing on Kotaku today about how the Android App Store has two games, like in their, if you look at their top apps right now, they have, what is it? They have one big, like a Fast and the Furious game, and a Sonic game, and then they have a game called Strip My Teen 3. It's a softcore porn game, and they're in the same list. And this is one that has a game that's been downloaded, 100,000 times next to the Strip My Teen game that's been downloaded 100 times.
Sean, look it up.
And it's like they're on the same
first
list.
Two, so we know what's going on.
Yeah, we all have apples, and Sean's the only one that's got an
I can't
Android.
look it up.
So I should have specified there's going to be an incredible amount of game industry talk, because there's been a lot of interesting things happening in the game industry. So we talked about mobile, some really exciting stuff there. I did want to talk to you guys about, last week, Aaron Greenberg, who's the chief of staff for the interactive and entertainment business for Microsoft, released some numbers that I found pretty staggering. Jay and Sean, you guys might already know this, but last year in 2012, worldwide, $65 billion was spent on games in the gaming industry. $65 billion.
And I can't get my 1 million. Really?
That's not asking much.
I know. So of that, it breaks down in the following. $8 billion went to social games and browser-based games. $8 billion went to handheld, which is like the DS, the Vita, things of that nature. $10 billion to the mobile and tablet market. $12 billion to PC, and a staggering $27 billion to consoles. Huge numbers, and just incredible growth. Again, and we are still technically in a recession.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me, those numbers. Amazing to me.
And we're at the end of a console life cycle, too. So
Next year is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like, imagine next year when everybody's buying consoles.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you look at the numbers for like a game like Candy Crush, it's like 2 million a day.
Yeah.
Like, really? Like, the 10 billion here in mobile is probably going to be 16 billion next year.
Yeah, easy. For sure. So I promised 2 weeks ago that I would talk some specifics about a fun thing that I've been involved in. And so we're going to move from mobile to tabletop games.
You mean like tablet games?
Tablet games,
that you put on your
definitely.
tabletop?
Yes.
Gotcha.
It's a phone that sits on your table. Yeah. So I mentioned, again, 2 weeks ago that I have been involved in a really exciting card game that I've been developing with a good a good friend of mine here at work, and it's called What the Food.
What the Food?
WTF.
And we...
that throws me off when I see it on Facebook.
I think I announced that we were about to start a Kickstarter campaign to kick it off. Hey, there it is. And we have done that, and I am very, very happy to say that we were looking for $12,000 to get this game kind of funded. Again, the game it's already made, so we were just looking for the printing costs, basically, the cost to kind of get everything printed so that
and
we
some
can
walk around town money, right?
No, actually,
couple bones.
Truthfully,
couple bones for the shoes.
At this point, we just want to get the game made. And so the dollar amount we're asking for is solely just to get the game made. Honestly, that covers just printing costs, pretty much, and cost for a little bit of shipping here and there for some people. But it's really exciting. So we launched. 13 days ago. Is that right? No, 10 days ago. 10 days ago, somewhere in that range. And we're looking for $12,000. And as of today, we have raised $10,570. So we are...
well done, sir.
Thank you. So we're like 80-ish% of the way there.
Have you put any money in?
I have, yeah. I've pledged. I have. Have you?
What?
The food.
So I wanted to...
neither confirm nor deny.
I first wanted to say... Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for everybody who's participated in this. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
You're welcome tomorrow.
You're welcome.
You should know, I have a copy here with me. The instruction booklet has been updated appropriately.
A couple extra names.
Not that accurately.
Not that accurately.
To include all the necessary people.
A couple of factual and spelling errors. If
factual?
Was there an E left out of Kearney?
No, it just says Carney.
Oh, okay.
But I did want to talk to you a little bit about some of the levels. So what you can kind of pledge at for the game, kind of what you get for that. So bear with me for a second. But you can pledge $1. We'll skip that one.
Thank you,
now,
all dollar
do you have anything
pledgers.
that's less than that?
How many people have pledged $1?
We have 10.
Wow.
10 people.
Right.
So $10.
That's
no.
some walking around money.
Not walking around far, but a little bit.
Just walking around your bedroom.
Exactly. Some Doritos.
Basically, that's a chance for you to get all the updates and just kind of stay on top of what's going on.
Can almost go see a movie with that.
Thank you to those
matinee.
people as
You
well.
can go to a matinee.
Not a 3D movie.
No popcorn.
So the basic kind of level was $20, which it allows you gets you a copy of the game. The hottest thing since sliced bread was dipped in turkey gravy, pickled for good measure. I can't read all these. Man, that's too funny. I'm going to laugh too hard while reading it. So this is basically a copy of the game. Then there's, for $25, there's a cherry on top, which is the special edition of the game. It includes extra characters.
It's got all the special ed kids in it.
That's funny and offensive.
Yeah. Because he could be special ed. He's like literally
Yes!
ed. Special ed.
So awesome.
Looks like we're not ready to rush this game.
Someone
to
needs
market.
Okay,
We got some
that is a secret character now.
Yeah.
Special ed. Let's get Pete on. Pete, let's get Peter in here.
It's so offensive.
How do I create a character? What's the tier?
Yeah, what do I? Oh,
we're getting there.
Yes,
we're getting there.
Now's your chance.
So
I'll give
you
$1 to your cause.
I'm kickstarting a way to make a character in here.
I've just heard from the lead game designer who said, as a disclaimer, this game does not currently involve targeting special ed kids.
You should just get a message.
So the special edition of the game gets Hippie Pippy, Mean Gene, and Clark Nark. So then you upgrade to $35. It's Catch of the Day. You get the special edition and the rarest character of all.
Drop Dead Fred.
Undead Fred.
Drop Dead Fred.
From
the movie.
Love that movie.
$50 a la mode. This is for LA people only. No joke. You get the special edition.
Hand delivered.
Plus you get the zombie. Plus you get a homemade pie hand delivered to you. No joke.
What kind of pie was that?
You can have your choice of apple, pecan, or pumpkin.
Wait, which tier was this?
This is $50.
How big of a pie?
Standard pie size, right? We're talking.
Smaller than the 100 level.
That's the one I got.
Level pie.
There's a bigger
Wait,
pie?
there's another pie at $100?
No, I'm totally kidding.
What if someone allergic to pie gets that and you hand deliver it and then you get charged for murder later?
You have your choice. Actually, there's a fourth option in there, which is pie chart.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
So
draw you a
that'll
pie
work.
chart.
Really?
How big of a pie chart?
How big would you be interested in?
I don't know,
Would-
tabletop probably?
If you got $50,
Can you draw us a
special
chart
edition
of
of the
how
game.
large of a pie chart you
A
have?
How does
bar
wait
graph
hand
for-
delivered? What if they live in Canada?
No,
They're
it's
LA
LA
only.
only, dipshit.
Oh.
Were you listening?
LA
No,
County?
I
Are we
wasn't.
talking about LA County?
I was
City
looking
of
at the
LA?
next topic.
This
What are we
says
talking?
LA, Los Angeles area only.
So wait, if you
vague.
don't live,
It is a little-
if you
I
live
need
in
to find
Canada, you
somebody
just
up in-
don't even get it. You don't even not hand deliver it and just send them it or a gift certificate.
How are you gonna send
No.
a pie, dude?
What? Are you kidding me?
What, you got a flash freezing?
Look, I'll tell you what. I'll make you a promise. If you live internationally and you're
Yeah.
interested in a pie, we will make a pie chart available to you.
Boo.
I think that's fair. Fair is fair. Fair is fair.
I'm telling you.
I'm
Flash
so
freeze it.
concerned about like the $50. That's probably not going to cover his gas, like, and the game and the ingredients to make.
It's
Did he
$15
really-
more than the 35. That's
Yeah, but how
plenty.
much does cake pie? Well, now what about cake?
Well, that's what all the walking around money's for.
I like that you just got completely sidetracked by your own. Okay, so anyway, so for another $50, I'm
So
sorry.
no cake?
This is a different $50 thing level. You can get What the Food, all the special characters, plus Fred, and an online opportunity to meet and talk with the members of the What the Food team, Google Hangout style. So if any of you guys are interested in talking to me,
So not worth it.
Do you get the pie?
So not worth it.
Do you get the pie with it?
Yeah, how
no,
do I get
that's
the pie?
that's not
No pie.
Wait a
pie.
second.
That's in
so
case you're
you
allergic to
think
pie.
that you talking to you over the internet is this at the same level of having a pie delivered by you in person?
Look, I'm saying there's advantages to living in Los Angeles near the game creators. That's what we're saying.
All right.
Okay.
And there's disadvantages to talking to you online.
Are you saying that people should charge us for this service?
I think that there should be a refund if you
Yeah.
buy that
Okay,
one.
fine. I won't participate. You can talk to the
Worth
game designer. All right. So $75 is the works. It's a special edition of the food plus Fred, signed by the game designer. That's Peter, not by me because I didn't technically design the game. And you'll also receive every other possible food and topping card in the reward tier. So
But
there's a
no
bunch
pie.
of others.
The pie card. You get a pie card.
The pie is specific to that one level. We're moving on. Although the pie chart will be available. Peter's already making that now. I guarantee it. $125.
Does everybody get the same pie chart?
What?
Like, would everybody get the same pie chart, or is it a different pie chart?
Yes. It's the same pie chart. And it says it's drawn in half. And it says yellow, red. And then
Times I'm happy, times
colored,
I'm not wearing
No, they're
pants.
just colored yellow and red.
That's a Venn diagram.
That's a Venn diagram.
Okay.
They never intersect.
So, $125, dinner for two, everything at the works level, signed edition of the game, bonuses, and an opportunity to put you and a loved one's name on an actual card in the standard edition of the game.
What a loved one's name would that? Could you use special ed?
Do we want to blow it that early?
It's a like. Here's an example. Like if there was a tree in the background, you could have a heart with your initials and your lady friend or male friend, whatever it may be.
Jay loves special ed.
Yes. S-E.
Forever.
$150 is a chef special, everything at the works, and the opportunity to co-design 2 food cards, a topping, a condition card.
We're getting there. We're getting to the sweet zone. We know what's coming up here.
$200.
No pie.
$200. 10 signed special edition copies at the works
What am I
level.
gonna do with 10?
Give them out, man, to your friends.
Can I sell them?
Can you get them?
Can I sell them for a markup?
Wait, so 10 for 200? And how much is it for one?
20.
So there's no discount there.
But these, but
they're signed and stuff.
So genuinely
No.
shocked.
I'm
that
sorry.
there isn't a
How much was it
discount.
for one special edition signed?
one special edition
That's the one that got you a pie, though. So you got to take that into the math.
is $75.
Oh, so there's discount.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just...
Now, what are these things going for on eBay right now? Does anybody check that price?
So it's not just standard edition; it's the works level copies.
With
so it's
signed.
the $75 level copy. All right. So I know this is boring you to tears. So
The dinner for 2 copy? Is that better or worse than the works copy?
I hate you sometimes. Soup to nuts, everything at the works level.
to nuts.
A signed special edition of What the Food and the bonuses, and an opportunity to forever name one of the 4 event card characters. So if like the janitor, you can name the janitor like
Special Ed.
Petco.
Oh,
Or Special Ed the janitor, I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah.
Well,
No,
that
you want
seems
to be
very
a
mean.
character. You want to be a character.
I'm going for that one, and then I'm letting the internet choose the name.
I should
NeoGAF.
specify there's disclaimers on all of these that the designers get final say. And then there's
I want my money's back. Well, Jay wants his money back.
My Kickstarter.
Yeah, I
So
want my
then,
dollar
for
back.
$450, you can design an actual action card, which is one of the core kind of gameplay mechanics. You can actually design one of those. And then for $1,000, you get to design an actual character to be used in the games. So
Kickstart that.
the way this
Special
plays
ed.
down,
I can
real
see
fast.
bidding on a Kickstarter. for
10 backers at $1 or more, 17 backers at 20, 59 backers at 25, 62 at 35, 19 at 50 LA, 5 at 50
Pies.
other version,
Yeah.
13
Let's get a shoes to make like 150 pies.
13 7 at the 75 level, 3
making
at the 125, 2 at the 150, 6 at the 200, and then a very, very generous person at the $1,000 level.
So, okay.
Was there a limit on how many thousands?
Yes, there are 7 of those.
I'm buying all those up.
Yeah.
You're welcome to do that.
All just going to be named Adam.
You're absolutely welcome.
What would special eds?
69,
I want to know
Adam
what special
70.
eds.
Secret thing?
His ability would
This
be.
is going to get offensive.
Yeah.
real
What would he
fast.
be?
You're going to get offended by...
He's wearing a helmet. He
He's
gets to
wearing a
deflect
helmet?
at least one thing.
No, that's not
every
offensive.
How
other
about
time.
like
That's not offensive enough.
nothing affects him because he doesn't know what's going on?
That's just...
What's the
we
point?
got to do more. We really got to dig into what kind of disability...
Oh, I get it.
I'm
When
not contributing.
We really need to dig into this.
when he throws his food, he always hits the target to the left. So who he's aiming at, he always hits the person to
Well,
the left.
doesn't what's
could
the
just be a
what's
girl.
the
Cross-eyed-
spin-
cross-eyed
just
Steve.
a bat.
Doesn't the spin one? Who's the spin one? Spin character, Carter.
Awfully quiet
Spin
over
doctor.
there.
Spinny Jenny.
Yeah,
Oh.
She does that?
yeah, that already like flies off to her.
Balls.
I know.
Yeah, so what can't they do? They're super strong. We do know that.
That's fucked up. What's next,
We are
everybody?
So borderline offensive. It's
Borderline?
I think we crossed that
Borderline.
line.
I know they can throw toppings without the actual food.
Guys, you're glossing over the fact that
you can
they
do
do
that in a
have
game,
really,
regardless.
really high
topping
strength, so they
can
should be able
be
to throw
used as a-
heavier amounts of
Well,
things.
whatever the thing is that can't be used that way, they can throw that without the.
They
thing.
Did
can
you guys
throw
hear about the
just a condition?
Yes.
Sour.
Are you trying to change the subject?
Oh yeah.
What are we
I'm
changing it to?
uncomfortable.
I saw this video of
Super Mario Kart, real life. Let's talk about
that's
it.
good.
Do
Come
it.
on.
Let's talk about it.
Before we get into Xbox, dumb.
That was not worthy of all those laughs. It doesn't even
pretty good.
rhyme.
It kind of sounds like it a little bit.
That was the best
What
you
do
could
think
come up
really-
with.
What could you come up with?
Xbox,
Fun?
not
No,
fun.
That's dumb.
Xbox,
Everybody laugh.
Xbox,
seriously.
no one.
Oh,
It's not as cool.
Xbox shunned.
Yeah.
That doesn't rhyme with one either.
All of these are dumb.
Yeah,
Xbox.
that's why I use the word dumb.
I like it. Go for
Xbox,
it.
All right.
no.
Well,
Issue in the bum.
so couple people.
Xbox. Run!
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
You can either run towards it or away from it. Don't matter.
It makes no sense.
That's
Love
awesome.
it.
So
Okay.
I was sitting on the toilet flipping through Popular Science the other day, and I came across this article about super real
Did we
Mario
need the
Kart.
toilet part?
Yes.
It's crucial
That's part of
detail.
the story.
That was probably where the inspiration for it came from.
Yeah,
Someone
I mean,
sitting
somebody
on
else
the
probably
toilet.
had the
It's gonna be
same.
integral later.
If I
Yeah,
could drive
probably
this
had the same
toilet
thing.
around and throw food at people.
Yeah, I mean that's probably going to be
Wait,
one of the vehicles.
after it's been digested food?
Yeah, it's just poop. All right. Anyway, so there is an article in the last month's issue of Popular Science. People who still get magazines in the mail, and they basically these 4 dudes. I don't know where they work. They work for some researching company. Made a real life Mario Kart. They
Hunter
went,
Smith of Waterloo Labs.
There you go, Waterloo Labs. That's what it's called. But they got a go-kart, and they found some guy who had owned a go-karting place and let them use it. And they rigged up this go-kart with an Arduino and a air cannon and RFIDs and a bunch of other stuff. And they basically made a real life Super Mario Kart. Like, when is that coming out for everybody? Because that's freaking rad.
When is
you
Google
know?
putting that shit in their car?
Yeah.
So every day could be Mario Kart Day.
Like they put like RFIDs into plushies,
cool.
and then there was one they modified the steering so that like if one RFID tag hit the car, it could like lock up the steering, so then they couldn't turn, or it could hit the brakes, or it could make the turning go like opposite.
Yeah, you know why people don't do that? Because that's incredibly dangerous.
No, dude, just put a bunch of bumpers on it. Yeah, it's on a closed course.
Little. Yeah.
How many people die in NASCAR races?
No, on go-kart.
Not
like
many.
go-karts. Like
Actually,
you go to like K1 racing.
Not many, actually.
I would pay $100 for an hour of that.
I'd pay $100 to watch you die doing that.
I could see kickstarting that for $1.
Yeah, let's get it going.
Throwing $1 at that.
No, you can give more than $1, Adam.
Anyways, I thought that was awesome, and I wanted to tell everybody about it.
So where does the pooping
So
come
what
into
are?
play?
Is there a list of things that it'll do? Like it'll lock up the steering. So it makes you slip. Does it?
So there's 4. There was the boost. So basically, every go kart has a governor on it, and when you get the boost, it takes that off, so you can go like.
Hey,
15%.
governor!
It's got a governor on it. Just jumps off.
Top off, yeah.
There's that. There's the one that I think it like turns your steering left or it turns your steering into the right wall. There's one that hits the brakes automatically, and then there's one that is the star basically, which makes everybody else's brakes get hit, and you get the boost.
You get to go to 100%
That's
throttle.
cool.
So here's the. Sorry, I just found it. So the red shell slows down a driver and jams the steering. Air pistons attached to the front wheels tie rods lock in place, while another piston depresses the brake pedal.
Yeah. So it basically like spins you out.
The green shell. These are all the RFID things. So if you get hit with a quote-unquote green shell, a driver who captures a green shell can stuff it into an air cannon and then launch it toward an opponent to fully stop his cart.
Like, they have to literally like try to grab things, or is it?
Yeah,
like
you have to
somewhere
pick 'em up
above
as
it?
you're driving.
Are they
You
like
pick 'em
hanging
up.
above,
No.
like so you can reach up, like in
Seriously?
the, like, something suspended above?
Where are they doing this?
Is it somebody's go-kart track that they...
Where? What
I think
city?
I think
my
it's in
favorite.
Texas.
My favorite part of the line was
California.
Did you say there was interns that did it too?
Yeah,
Like,
they were interns.
So my favorite part.
That was their job. They were interns, and they were like, "You guys should do this."
This is my favorite quote. We weren't entirely sure how we were going to do it, says intern Tim Lynch, but we said, okay, we need to do this.
So
Tim's going places.
A plastic
Not anywhere where
banana.
he has to write or talk.
A plastic banana causes one tie rod piston to contract and another to expand, forcing the front wheels to the right on the left aiming track.
So like if it
left turn.
turn, it takes
Adam,
you out to the
don't
right.
you cause something to contract and expand with a plastic banana sometimes?
So a mushroom, normally a spring prevents the
We don't have
throttle
video
lever from
on this
opening
one.
more than 85%, and the RFID tag in the plush mushroom triggers a servo motor to pull the lever, enabling the driver to reach speeds of nearly 35 miles per hour.
Don't you use your plush mushroom too, Adam?
Never together.
Plush mushroom head.
Never
I think
together.
I'm not 100% sure, but this is in the DIY section of Popular Science, so they may have plans up on their website. I'm not sure.
Then this is awesome, actually.
How do you get one of these swag research jobs, by the way?
Seriously, let me get that.
You gotta be willing to work for free.
If you are lucky,
and travel to wherever this is and work
swag.
for free.
I said swag.
If you're the lucky driver who grabs the plush star, it temporarily fully opens the throttle and disables all the other carts while you're going around. It's brilliant.
It's badass, isn't it?
Yeah,
I play
like
that
Which
shit.
is the one that you
lightning
get to
bolt.
tase people? Is that one?
That's the real life Call of Duty.
Have you seen Taser Ball? That's flag football, but everybody's got tasers.
That sounds horrible. That sounds horrible.
It sounds awesome to watch.
Yeah, it sounds
horrible to play.
There's a lot of involuntary bowel releases.
That doesn't sound like a good time.
But it is really funny because you watch them like, and it's like these kind of like buffed up dudes, and, and then you get tased, and everybody just does that same.
Just falls on the ground.
Everyone looks the
It
same.
looks so
tased.
funny.
Yeah. Don't tase him, bro. Don't tase him, bro.
Timely reference.
Yep.
Sean, did you want to cover a couple things before we get into the gigantic elephant in the room?
I can try, because I didn't really read the stuff I posted.
He didn't even read
Sean
it.
Fennell, everyone.
I read some of it.
I saw a picture. It looked neat.
Actually, these are posts that came from Matt T on the forums. He posted an article that is the Adobe Magic Pen. It's not called Magic Pen. What's it called? Someone is looking at
XD?
this. Yes. Well, yeah. whatever.
Adobe XD.
Yeah, so it's a pen that connects to the cloud, and you can pretty much take your drawings and so forth with you with the pen as it connects to the cloud, and you can actually have your stuff on all of your devices at the same time. So while you're drawing in their application, if you have like, hey, I need to put that thing that I drew for that other project into this thing, you actually have it in your clipboard already associated with that pen. So you can just drop it down, move it around. It's actually really cool. So there's a video on the on YouTube about it, and then in addition to that, they actually created a ruler device as well. This hardware ruler device where you can draw perfectly straight lines, perfectly straight arcs, perfectly straight all kinds of different architectural style drawings just with this ruler, which is that part was pretty neat too. So this guy's doing all this stuff on the tablet while he's demoing it.
If you watch this video with the sound off, it's just him talking.
Pretty much for the first half.
But here we go.
Yeah, if you turn the sound on, apparently it's not just a guy talking.
Well, he's still talking. The sound doesn't change the fact
he turns into a giant rabbit.
It also allows for some interesting context sensitivity. So as you're drawing with the pen, it knows that you're drawing with the pen. So if you use your finger, you can actually use your finger as an eraser. So you can draw a line and then be like, oh, I'm just going to erase that line. So you don't have to do any mode changes.
Adam, you use your finger a lot too, right?
It doesn't erase. A lot of if you know what I mean.
And the other thing that was posted, which I believe was from a while ago, if I remember the date on the article correctly, was some research students, not quite that while ago. Some research people are figuring out a way, or have figured out a way, to embed computer information into DNA. So they're actually going forth with trying to represent MP3s, movies, text files, whatever kind of data that you can represent on the computer as DNA, which means that storage capacity will change pretty radically. As we all know, DNA is responsible for storing the genetic code of all life on Earth. And there's a lot of information there. So, they're talking about being able to store every movie that has ever been made on one strand of DNA, or not even a whole strand of DNA.
But here's that movie, Adam the movie or whatever.
Yeah, so the Adam thing, this is actually different from Adam, and I actually think the Adam thing is going to be even more groundbreaking because DNA is bigger than atoms, obviously, because it's made up of atoms. And I think in the Me and My Atom, like behind the scenes, they're talking about like you could represent significant amounts of data with 7 atoms.
Yeah.
So if you can represent a good amount of data with 7 atoms, imagine the amount that you could represent as a strand of DNA or any kind of, cubic volume of atoms is it's just mind blowing.
I like the idea of there's all these scientists in a room and they're like, yeah, we're doing something, we understand DNA, we understand genetics, and one of them jumps up and goes, oh my God, guys, I've made a discovery. And the rest of the scientists go, what? Have you found a cure for Alzheimer's, for AIDS? Like, what have you done that you've understood with the DNA? And he goes,
I could put my entire music collection,
my entire porn collection
in my fingernail.
Think about it. Think about Netflix, all right? Now times that by 100. I could fit all those fucking movies in DNA. And meanwhile, like, everybody's like, oh, we're trying to cure diseases.
We're trying to create ultra people, and you're saving movies for the non-ultra.
This is where my porn collection is.
Yeah. I can fit.
You can have your porn collection in your penis. Amazing.
I feel like.
Could you install a projector in there,
thing
too?
ever.
Why would you want that?
Jason. When someone tells you that you can store things in your penis, you just say, okay.
Actually, the first... So, when I saw the DNA article...
I'd kickstart that for more than $1.
The first thing that I thought of when I saw the DNA article was, like, that part in Harry Potter where Dumbledore, like, pulls the memory out of his brain, and it's, like, that strand. So, like, now we can just give mind information to each other.
That's going to be awkward when that's stored in your penis. That's going to make
a little
things
bit
weird.
But I might make it
have to share.
Might make it awesome
information.
Dock him.
My penis.
Or you could do it sideways. You come at it at like an T-intersection.
Think about it. All of the transfer devices will be universal now.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be universally transferred.
Yeah.
Unless it's an Adam's penis, then it's never going to make it anywhere. It's not going to be shared
Guys,
with anyone.
just when transferring data, just make sure to wear protection. If I can have a PSA for maybe like a 10-second PSA, just wear protection.
Now you can start reprogramming other people.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about weird sex stuff?
Weird sex stuff.
So on that note,
this has been Nerdtastic In.
Right.
That's Sean Fennell's slightly sleazy news corner.
Chunky! Turning nerdy news into something sexual.
So the big news of the week
news
is probably that Xbox this
Run!
What was that? Xbox what? Xbox.
Run!
Oh yeah.
Microsoft.
Are we sampling this show yet?
This week, Microsoft announced the next generation console that they've been working on and that we've been spreading rumors about. And
we were way off.
Yeah, we were pretty off.
So off.
And they've named it the Xbox One,
a.k.a. the Xbone.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it.
No.
That's what everybody's calling it on the internet already. Everybody. Saw that.
So fetch, Pecco.
Everybody.
Up on the tweets, people were tweeting.
Don't try to make Xbone happen.
That's one posted 10 seconds ago.
That's so loose, but
Okay,
Google Xbone.
I just have to say,
Don't Google
Hold
Xbone.
on. Okay, it's Sean's account.
Yeah. Wait, you're
Now, is that one word or is it a dash? No dash?
Xbone.
Xbone thugs.
That's the sequel
Wake
to
up,
Monkey
wake up,
Bone.
wake up.
Hey,
It's the
Xbox
subject.
One called
Brendan
Xbone.
Fraser in Xbone.
okay, all right.
I went a completely hip hop route with it.
Here, Twitter search, Xbone.
I told you.
Ooh, also, FYI, Xbone Records, that's a thing.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm on that record label.
So Microsoft reveals their console that they've been working on. So this is a next generation console. It's their.
What's that sound? It sounds like a dead
I'm
giraffe.
hearing screaming.
It's fine, just ignore it. It'll go
Okay,
away.
all right.
That's what I always
Is
do.
this on your? Never
No.
mind. All right. So
It's on his Xbone.
FYI, you guys, that stands for Xbox One.
Yeah, we just said that like 15 times.
I see. Thank you, Adam. So the Xbox
I
One
didn't get it till I saw it in writing.
is Microsoft's attempt. So we have talked about how Microsoft with the 360 has started with a gaming console and then it's migrated into something that is more than that. It's become the closest thing I think that we have today to a media PC, a living room PC. You can do
debatable.
Okay, we can have that debate.
It's math debatable.
So Microsoft is full in on this idea that they want to have one device that you can do all of your entertainment in the living room through. Hence the Xbox One. So
Sorry, we're looking at Xbone Records.
lovely. So it is an 8-core CPU, 8 gigs of RAM, and a 500 gig hard drive. It comes with
unremovable
hard drive. It comes with an HD Kinect, a new generation of Kinect that has 2 HD cameras in it, as well as a photon light reader.
Sorry, guys, that was Xbone Records' latest hit. Hold on, let's just...
We're going to have to pay royalties for this.
No, it's okay. They haven't been on Twitter since November 28th of 2012.
Xbone.
And back to the topic at hand. We'll just let this play softly in the background.
I'm going to have to edit this one.
Oh, yes. What's the price point on this amazing...
That was awesome.
I took some digging to find that,
This
guys.
show is not going to continue until Josh can stop laughing.
Sorry, good.
So the Xbox is you can watch TV through it. Has an HDMI pass through, USB 3 ports. USB 3 ports. It has
4K out.
4K out.
Does it really?
Yes.
We know
Wow.
for sure that it. Well, we'll get to some of the stuff that's come out after. But for the announcement, they definitely announced that it is basically a dual operating system. So one that's primarily made and designed for games, for the gaming console, and then another side which has a Windows kernel that allows for you to run apps. But the really interesting part is that they've invested heavily in this idea of you've got two that can be running at the same time, and they've created a linkage in between the two so that you can instantaneously stop a game and instead of like, let me go home and then go to Netflix, or let me go through some menus and then go to, you can just literally pop to Netflix or pop to TV. Or so they demoed that in their thing. It's like like live, pretty much on the fly. Go here, do this.
Better
do this,
get that Plex app on now.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was one of my first thoughts. So some really, really interesting stuff that's come out. Before we get to some opinions, I think just kind of want to run through some of the.
Are you looking at me?
Yeah, I'm thinking you're going to have some.
Hey,
some of the
strong
interesting things that have that were announced with the reveal. So we know that there are 15 confirmed games for Xbox Ones just from Microsoft Studios alone.
Wow. That's launch titles, right?
Launch titles, yep, absolutely.
They said 15 launch titles. But not from Microsoft. Oh, no, not from Microsoft Studios.
Oh, gotcha. And then...
That's a shit.
Yeah, they're going to be busy.
Yeah, I hope they started working on those. It's coming up here soon.
We, in the same thing, the same event, the reveal event, they had the new head of a new division of IEB of Microsoft. That's Microsoft Entertainment Studios, which is their...
That place is a mess.
Is it?
No, Microsoft Entertainment Studios, MES.
You're an idiot.
Place is a mess. That's you know what? I am disappointed because that's a Jason Carter joke if I've ever heard one.
It's good.
You guys can't tell on camera, but he did smile and nod a little bit.
You can't tell on camera because there is no camera. That's why you can't tell.
Duh.
So
part of what I said didn't make sense.
The Xbox Entertainment Studios announced with co-op with 343 Industries, the studio behind Halo, and Steven Spielberg have teamed up to do a live-action Halo TV series exclusively for the Xbox. That was a big announcement.
And you're super stoked about that, right? Because like your big thing with Halo is the story, right?
Absolutely.
So this is all 100% story, no gameplay.
Unbelievably
Take the gameplay out.
Screw that gameplay stuff.
What we do know is that you, at some point in time, you have to have an internet connection for this.
Once a day. Once a day, you need to connect to the internet.
Has that been confirmed?
That's what I've been hearing.
Neither confirmed nor denied.
Wait,
no, it has been confirmed.
Do I have to I have to sign it on? Like, it'll do it itself.
If you're playing a single player game,
right? But I don't have to be like if I'm not home or whatever.
No, that's fine.
It'll do it itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you're playing a single player game, a game that conventionally will be played offline, you need to connect to the internet at least once every 24 hours because of the way that it reads discs and reads your account. And Kotaku had a whole thing where they were interviewing, I think it was Don Matrick, one of the guys at Microsoft, and he said,
he's the president
every
of
24 hours.
IEB.
That worked really well for BattleNet.
So one thing that has come out since is that, we talked about this before, is that it will not be backwards compatible with any games from the Xbox 360. However, your gamer score, your movie purchases, music purchases, those will all transfer over.
Oh, good. So my Xbone Records collection will finally be playable on my Xbone.
I've been doing
cool,
some quiet research, and they are available in the Zune marketplace still.
You don't do anything quietly, by the way.
I did like them on Facebook.
So there's a whole new Xbox Live system that's been designed. So they went from like 3,000 servers when they first started, and they're up to I think they said 3 million servers worldwide.
That is more than all of the computing power in the world in the year 1999.
97.
You know
1997. It was part of their speech.
Yeah, it was. So some interesting things, but so a couple of other things that have come out is achievements.
Xbox, sports, TV.
I'm a big achievements junkie, and so achievements are going to be changeable and dialable based on player behavior. And I think that's a really interesting idea.
We've got an opinion.
That's almost as bad an idea as sub-achievements.
And trophies on PlayStation.
Aren't trophies on PlayStation just achievements?
No, they're worse. And let me tell you why. This is what is great about achievements, is that every game has 1,000 or 1,250 if you have a stupid expansion pack. But 1,000. And that way you know when you pick up a game, when I see somebody with 40,000 achievement points, I go, wow, they have completely finished the equivalent of 40 games. You know what I mean? And the fact that you can know, I can look at what's your gamer score? Well, how many points do you have in Gears of War?
It gives your score meaning. It's not out of
Exactly.
context.
Where now it's like, oh, how many points do you have? Well, I have 500 in Gears of War. Oh, so you need 500 more? Well, actually, Gears of War is 622. So I'm almost beating it. There's no consistency there. And that's the one thing that they've nailed that every Apple, Sony, Google have all failed in trying to implement it.
I don't think
Apple does that.
I don't think that's the
but
case.
they don't force you to max out your points.
Yes, they do. You have a maximum amount of points that your game can.
But they
can
don't
report.
Yeah. But they don't have a minimum.
Right. Okay.
That's the problem.
I don't know that it's true that they're going to depart from the 1,000. All that we know officially that I've read is that what the achievements are. Say they have a list of, hey, here's 50 achievements, and they really only need you to do 20 to get to 1,000 gamer score. Of the 50, based on your playing style and Microsoft can kind of study your habits and kind of say, here are the 20 that apply to you to
get out
you
of my
1,000.
Here's the
Here's the 20 that apply to you.
That's
really the developer?
That's weird. That's just crazy to me because it defeats the achievements are for completionists. And so if you say like, oh, we're going to give you a subset of achievements, it's like, no. So I'm a completionist. I want to complete everything.
Yeah.
That was the whole fucking point of achievements that they nailed so hard. Like that to me was like the number one thing, that and the controller. And I'll admit that they did the best job ever, apparently from what I've read, of changing the controller without changing the controller. But like they literally nailed the controller and nailed achievements, and they could have just gone, hey, same controller, same achievements, and I would have been like, yep, you realized what you did right, you know.
For sure. I do think what's enticing to me about it is there's a lot of, with achievement lists, there's a lot of, here's a bunch of achievements for beat the story. Here's a bunch of achievements for go try crazy challenges within the story. Here's a bunch of achievements for go play multiplayer. Here's a bunch of achievements for co-op. And it's kind of like we're trying to offer a little bit of something for everybody. But like we've talked about this a lot on the show. There are different types of play style. Multiplayer's not for me. So if I could swap out the multiplayer achievements for more single player achievements, I'd be all about that.
I will say the one thing that could be improved with achievements, and I hope that since they're doing this revamp, they do, is there should be a badge that you get when you finish the single-player campaign of a game. And I should be able to go to your wall and go, oh, you've beaten all of these games without this 100% achievement bullshit, but go and say, and all it is when maybe the developer gets to pick what complete means, but it should be something along the lines of like, oh, I've beaten the core campaign. I get a little badge that says, I beat Mass Effect, I beat Call of Duty, I beat all these games, and I can look at that. Because for me, I don't give a shit about 1,000 achievements, but I would like people to be able to look, and even me be able to look and go, man, I've finished 26 games on the 360.
In addition to that, your avatar should have the general's jacket that he wears with all of your badges on it.
Oh!
That's cool.
That's a fun idea.
We should build a console.
That's a dumb idea.
Done.
Hey, no,
what? You are going to be our lead engineer.
We'll just call it the out.
You want trophies? You want more trophies?
Put some
I
valves
think
together.
trophies are stupid too. I never go for them.
Yeah, we'll call it the
just a bunch of valves together.
I feel like at least on Sony, I agree with you, and I never even pay attention to trophies because they're just things that pop up when I'm playing the game. Like,
I
don't
need to
even
turn
know
it
what
off
I'm doing
because it's the stupidest thing, and it takes.
But it's
you
probably
out
the
of
same thing
experience.
as the achievements for Xbox. Like I'm not a completionist in that respect, and I don't really even know what I'm doing when I get achievements. Like you got this stupidly named achievement that I don't know what it means, but here it is, and I'm like, okay, great.
But I will say that some of them are like when people actually care about them and do interesting things. Like I had a coworker who was way into achievements, and we would spend like a weekend just playing games and getting achievements. And it was fun because we'd play like a hockey game that like we don't know anything about hockey, and it was fun trying to achieve a very simple goal, which was really fun. And especially when they're like named, like I'm going through and doing achievements for our game now. And it's like actually really fun to just do really stupid things that you have to do in the game that the only reason we're making you do them is because I think it's a funny pun for the stupid name of the achievement. Like there is something charming about that makes you feel like you care. But when you just
randomly
poop them out, which is what everybody did when the Xbox 360 first came out, was they were like, what's the minimum? We have to have achievements. All right, here's 5. They're each worth 200 points.
Here's Avatar The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Press B.
And it was just like, but once you
more
like
than
care, it can be interesting.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like you should be able to cash them in for something. Like even like something on like within the Xbox Live Arcade or something that would like the more achievements you could actually do something.
Yeah.
With
Well,
them.
they have that whole the Microsoft points it gets you like percentage off. Like if
That's
you
a
have
new thing.
the next game you get is like 10%.
Okay, I do remember
I
that.
like
I
the
do remember that.
Avatar Awards the best though. And going back to your General's jacket, like the Avatar Awards, I've gotten a couple like in Explosion Man. I got a cool T-shirt that I wore for a while. In Crazy Taxi, I have the T-shirt that I still wear today on my avatar, and I like that because it's like it shows off that I'm a fan of this game. I bought this game and I achieved something in order to have something that I can kind of have more of a trophy and less of a number. Now, granted, those T-shirts don't scale as well, but something like badges or something would.
So let's go around real quick and talk about general impressions of the reveal of the new product, what we're thinking that the new
Pecco
direction
goes
from
last.
Microsoft is. You want to go first? You can go first.
Well, I mean, my opinion's not going to be a surprise. Like I wasn't super impressed by the PS4, but I'm a Sony guy, so I was like, cool.
I'm a Sony guy.
And honestly, I was telling Kearney this today. Like, I wanted to be convinced that I should switch over to Xbox. I was waiting for something that was just going to blow my mind and be like, awesome. Now I can switch over to Xbox and play games.
That's what you
with
said right
everybody
before
else.
we kissed.
Right before
or
we
sorry,
kissed
right
in the
after
car.
we kissed. You said, I was looking for that to blow my mind.
And it didn't.
You did something else though that did blow your mind.
Blew something.
Blowjob.
Hashtag blowjob.
So yeah, I mean, my opinion is, it didn't feel like anything was revolutionary, and because of that, I'm probably just gonna stick with the PS4. I'm not a huge multiplayer online gamer, and it seems to me that Sony is actively pursuing indies, and I feel like there's going to be more indie games popping up on PSN than there is on XBLA now. So I'm probably gonna day one get the PS4 and skip out on the Xbox until something changes, or at least until they prove it to me.
The media center hub isn't as much of a draw as it.
PS3
it could.
had one.
Yeah,
PS3
but I'm
was
saying
one.
like
What's
as
the
this all-in-one thing. Like, cause I don't even have cable subscription, and I don't foresee getting that in the near future anyway. So this whole ability to switch back and forth, it's like, half that is gone. Like, I don't really care anymore. And unless specifically Plex becomes better integrated into it, more than just the way the Xbox 360 does it now, where it just is a file browser, then I don't see any point for that at all, and it would strictly just be a next-gen console. And so unless I know that will happen.
So just want to say real quick, while we're going around talking about our impressions, we'll come back around, circle about if there's stuff that should have been in this, in our opinions. But first, just general impressions. So no-go for you?
I mean, I like the idea about the next-gen console and better games, and the footage from like Forza looked unreal. Yeah. And the fact that I didn't realize it did 4K, that's just another something that can deliver 4K content.
Yeah,
and
but I mean, the PS4 is 4K.
I'm not buying
as well,
it.
So.
I'm not buying it.
No, I'm just saying, like, as a
guy, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying yours that you already pre-ordered. That you want to get rid of.
Do you want to buy a PS3?
Give you a real good deal.
A Blu-ray drive. Totally forgot to mention that there's a Blu-ray drive on board the Xbox One.
Yeah. Why is that surprising though?
It's
like
not.
It should be. There should be a Bluray drive.
Right.
You know.
I'm really excited about.
I just forgot to mention the specs.
I'm really excited about physical media. So that's.
I wish it was a tray. Is it a slot or is it a tray? Damn it.
Hey,
I love the slot.
You?
Trays.
I'm really disappointed in the mandatory internet connection and having it have to check like constantly. That's bullshit.
I don't think that bothers me at all.
No,
It's
me either.
annoying.
Aren't you always? You're always connected though.
I am always connected, but I just don't see the point. Especially in the fact that like if you're not doing anything that requires an internet connection, then why does it need to do it?
Well, isn't that the point? It does require it.
That's exactly, but why? They probably have an okay reason for it. I don't think
But
they
it
have
hasn't.
an awesome,
I will
real good reason for it.
Oh, I will say this: it is certainly because I haven't read everything that Kearney you were saying that you're reading that once every 24 hours, but I will say this one area has been like the biggest area of contention surrounding the whole thing for all of the media.
The used game market too.
Well, I was just gonna say just to confirm,
I
like
can see
what
that being
Kotaku said.
Tipping like a hard.
Yeah.
But like just because it needs to access the internet and whatever, do a system.
No,
whatever,
sir.
Whatever. That doesn't bother me at all.
So Steven Totillo on Kotaku was talking to Phil Harrison, who is
Senior
VP
VP,
of Microsoft.
senior VP.
Yeah. And he said that for single-player games that don't require connectivity to Xbox Live, you should be able to play those without interruption should your internet connection go down. Same things for Blu-ray and downloaded stuff. But they say the device is fundamentally designed to be expanded and extended by the internet as many devices are today. And then Kotaku specifically said, so if I'm playing a single-player game, do I have to be online at least once per hour or something like that? Or can I go weeks and weeks without signing on? And Harrison said, I believe it's 24 hours. And Totilo went, so I'd have to connect online once every day. And Harrison said, correct. So it is, that's a... Again, like, I'm always online. I don't care, but it's weird.
But
that's
something online, or just sign into the Xbox, and when you sign in and you sign on your profile, like, there I connected. Like,
I think they haven't announced a lot of stuff with it, though, and I think it's a failure of how they communicated it, because I have a feeling they're going to just do all their system updates automatically.
Yes.
And that they're just going to automatically install stuff for you. They're going to automatically update the Connect.
Like, when you log into your Xbox and you sign in, there, you hit the internet. Like, there you go. That's your...
Yes, but if that 24-hour turn is up, and you do need to update, and you have to wait for it to update to play your game, I'm not saying that that's the case, but if it is, that's going to suck.
See, that's the thing. I'm wondering if it's to play your game or if it's to access Xbox Live.
Maybe.
Because that's what I'm thinking. If you're using it for Xbox Live and stuff like that, and you're trying to sign on or do anything like that with your profile, I think you would need every 24 hours. I can see them doing that. It's stupid, but I can see them totally doing that.
Yeah,
but to be able to play a game, you just don't sign in. You just you're not using your profile. You're not using this.
No, they're saying they say straight up for single-player games that don't require connectivity to Xbox Live, you can play them without interruption if your internet connection goes down, but you still need the 24-hour thing. And that's why I just think it's a bad communication, because there's got to be a reason, right? And I think that the reason they're not communicating it is it's all anti-piracy.
Yeah.
Because the other thing to what Jason was saying is that what they've been saying is that you'll buy a game for $60, let's say, you'll put the disc in once. And when you put the disc in, as you start playing, it is installing it to your hard drive. And there's no way around that. And then, once it finishes installing, the disc pops out, you put it back on your shelf, and you never have to touch that disc again. You're playing exclusively off of the hard drive.
And
so you need to be online.
Also worked really well for Battle.net.
One thing that they have said is that the moment that you start installing it, you can play the game. There is no, let me wait till it's installed.
Totally true.
The moment it starts installing, you can play.
But the issue comes in when I want to loan you one of my games.
Yeah. Or take it over and play
some
sports games.
You can take it over and play
if you
take your account. But what the big thing for me is so used games, there's going to be a fee, basically. So if I sell a game to GameStop and then GameStop sells a game to Josh is going to have to pay a fee the second he logs in with his account and my game.
Why would I ever buy a disc then, ever?
But then the other thing, the other thing about it that I think is, what did they just do to GameFly? Yeah. Did they just put them out of business? Because that's all they do is rent games. And are they saying rentals are over? And again, they can say all this stuff.
But I mean, GameStop, all those people thrive on used games. Because I mean, you buy a game for $60. Immediately, it's just like a car. You've just now devalued that game by about $20 or $30. Like, they will buy back the game for like $10, and you're just like, but then they will resell it for about $5 less.
Quite
than
that bad.
But I will say,
seriously, it
Some
really
games
is.
it is.
But I will say this.
I think the max they will buy it back for is like $30.
And I will say this though, is with the used game stuff. Like, I work for a developer. I will say wholeheartedly, I don't think there's a damn thing wrong with used games. Like, by all means, and I go back, my dad works in the music industry, and he had a bunch of friends when he was buying used records that would give him shit, like songwriters. They would go, like, why do you buy used records? I don't get that money. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, like, I bought my car used. Should I have gone to the Toyota factory and paid everybody who made the car? Why is the work that we do so much more important than the work that anybody else does, that you pay once and then that person owns it and they can do with it what they will? I think it's a little bit unfair. I don't believe in stealing games. I don't believe in any of that. But I do think that if I buy a $60 disc, you're goddamn right. I should be allowed to give it to you or sell it to you or do whatever I want.
It's not like it's something
It's
that I'm
mine.
not copying it. I
But if
can't
you-
do anything with it once I give it to you.
If you buy a $60 digital download, I mean, I know there's no disc, but it's the same thing. It's the same product.
It's the
same exact
It's
product.
the same product, but they get away with it in the sense of like, well, it's physically difficult to sell it to somebody else or trade it in or to do something like that. Whereas with this, they're kind of cheesing it where they're going like, in that, because I buy a ton of downloadable stuff. Like most of my DS games are downloaded, and I can't sell them back or do anything. But I feel like that's the price I pay for the convenience of being able to download it. And I feel like Sony did get that right, where they're way big on download stuff. Whereas Xbox is like, no, buy the disc, but you get the download. I can't do anything with it now experience, which is just shitty. It's come on, guys.
So
I'm probably not going to be first in line.
Okay.
I'm going to wait until
See how it goes.
I need it. Yeah.
So, after I just railed on them for that, I will say, one, I'm going to buy everything. Like, I don't care. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to buy one of these consoles day one, and then I'm going to get the other one a couple years later, because they're going to be almost exactly the same in the grand scheme of things.
Which are you doing first?
I don't know, because I would say if the Xbox, for me, I buy most of my games right now on the 360. It took me a long time to get a PS3. And the reason I buy still everything on 360 is because everybody's on it. And if everybody happens to be on PS4 this time around, which I probably won't know by day one, I'll get one of those. I will say the indie thing is the real, like everything else I just think was just bad from like a presentation standpoint that I'm like, why did you talk about that? Like, have you guys never seen an Apple presentation? Which is the same thing I had with the PS4 announcement. I was like, why did you even do this if you're not going to announce anything? But that being said, the Xbox, when they did talk about the TV switch and stuff and the use Kinect to turn on your TV and do all that, I was like, yeah, that's kind of all I use the Xbox for anyways, is to be a entertainment center. Yeah, I'll do that. I can get behind that. So I was kind of excited about the non-game stuff because I don't play a lot of games on my Xbox anymore. That being said, the more I read about how I'm going to be interested in what both of their E3 press conferences are. And if Microsoft really is like very not into indie development, I feel like that's more what I'm playing now, so I'll probably go PS4.
Josh?
I was a fan of it. I mean, a lot of people complained because that we didn't see any games and stuff like that. But then at the same time, the PS4 conference thing was just all games and then like no hardware. And E3 is 19 days away. Like, that's going to be just a shit ton of games everywhere, and you really won't see much of the console. It'll be in a little glass box, and that's all you'll be able to see. And you'll have games everywhere. I can wait 19 days. I wanted to see the thing. I wanted to know the specs of it, because we know what games are going to look like. We see them because any computer right now is better than what Xbox is or the PS4 is going to be. So we see what good graphics can do. I don't need to see a ton of that this second.
So you wanted to see the VCR?
I did want to see the VCR.
Yeah,
I wanted to see the Kinect and how it moved and everything like that. And watching videos on how more responsive it is, it's actually pretty awesome. And the new control and stuff like that, how that's kind of laid out. I think that's interesting. I'm kind of excited about
Rumbles
that.
in the triggers.
Yeah, in the triggers. So if
which is supposed to be. Kotaku was like, it sounds stupid, but it's cool as shit.
Yeah.
They said it's really immersive and interesting.
So, I mean, all those things I'm very excited for.
Just immersive for your hands, though, not the rest
yes,
of you.
Exactly.
Depends where.
I take the second player one tomorrow.
I won't be rushing out to get it, because the Xbox to the 360, that was a giant leap. PS2 to the PS3, very big leap. Some people sit there and complain, oh, okay, but the PS4 is bigger, or better, more powerful than the Xbox. Well, good. The PS3 is supremely powerful over the 360. Look what that got them. Not really a whole lot, So that's not oh, darn you, Xbox for not living up to PlayStation again. So that doesn't bother me. That, again, like Sean Fennell said, I'm not going to rush out to get it. I will get it, most likely. And then PS4, maybe on a day when I just need to spend money for tax reasons and there's a price drop, I will be purchasing probably one of those as well to play some sort of God of War game.
And I think we're all forgetting how shitty the launches were for the PS3.
Oh God,
and the
atrocious!
Xbox 360. Like
Cameo.
Yeah, when people go like, "Oh man, there's like no games coming," it's like, yeah, just like the last launch and the launch before that. There's not a lot of good launch games.
And I mean, graphic wise, expansion wise and graphics, like I said, you've seen it more on your PCs already that already have the ability to do that. So it's not this leap forward where you're just like, I need to see that game, And I'm sure. Most of these games that are actually launching on the 360 for the Xbox One will be on the 360 too. They'll have a 360 version. It's just like, do you want this more high-res version? I don't really need it right this second.
I think one of my concerns also is the, because Xbox, the 360 has been my system for now, for my serious gaming, especially gaming online. So it's like, if everybody else doesn't get on board and you're just the one person, like you were saying, Sean, it's like, shit, now we're not going to be able to play, or we're not going to be able to do any of that kind of stuff unless everybody else. So you guys all should jump on board, is what I'm saying.
Well, it sounds like I'm going to be the only one buying a PS4, so.
You're always going to be the only one doing anything. You're so different,
Forever
Jason.
alone.
Okay, what about you, Carter?
Well, so, there's no surprise here. I'm definitely the biggest, probably, Microsoft fanboy in the room. I'm just incredibly interested in what they're doing. Not necessarily with the Xbox, but just their whole business strategy right now. I'll say this. I have always been a huge fan of the idea of Kinect. From the moment I first saw it, I was in love with the idea. And we've talked on the show before, but it's fallen short. Mainly the stuff you've seen, there's been one or two amazing executions, Gunstringer being one of them, like amazing executions, and then there's just stuff that's like, okay. There was something last E3, so almost a year ago now, that was announced called Rise, R-Y-S-E. That was a gladiator Rome first-person battle game.
Do you like gladiator movies?
I liked the gladiator movie.
Are you not entertained?
So it was
a terrible accent.
It was. It's going to be done by Crytek, and it was announced last year, and then it suddenly just fell off the face of the planet. Like no one ever heard from it again. That was 2 years ago. Sorry, it was 2 years ago. So no one's heard from it since, and then we just found out that it will be released. The reason is because I should say it was a hardcore game based on Kinect. So as you moved your hand to swipe a sword, your character would do that. But the fidelity of the first-gen Kinect wasn't there, which is why the delay has happened. And so the next-gen Kinect that comes with it, I think, is finally going to break into that threshold of what I've truly been excited about, which is the chance for really immersive puppetry within gaming. I think that's going to be really, really interesting.
I thought the PlayStation, the Eye had that, because they had the two handles, so you were able to do like one as a shield and one as a sword. I thought they
did a game called Sorcery, I believe, that
what it
was kind of like that. I think the big thing that everybody's missing is that we literally have gotten one of those like futuristic things, like a flying car or a jetpack, albeit smaller, in the Kinect interface that they showed with the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. Like, if you were watching a movie and there's a guy and it's like, oh, it's the future, and dude is like stretching to move his TV and talking to his television, turn on off, you'd be like, that's awesome, I want that. And then it gets announced, and everybody's like, this is stupid. Why is it stupid? I was like, you just got the fucking future, and you're spinning in its face. I was angry at people who were angry about the Xbox announcement, specifically because they got the future and they laughed at it.
I literally had this exact same conversation today with people. There's these moments where technology, it doesn't seem like these crazy leaps, like, hey, we just went 100 years in the future, but there's these moments, these highlights, where I suddenly have this out-of-body experience, and I'm like, holy cow, I just like experienced science fiction.
Yeah.
And one of those times for me, sorry, this is a side note, but one of those times is as my wife was in labor with our second kid, it's a long process. I got an app, the Plex app, that allowed me to watch movies and TV shows that I had at home. And that was like this crazy sci-fi idea where I'm like, hey, here, Katie, here's a screen, and you can watch all of the content we have at home live right now.
Like, there are sci-fi movies from 10 years ago, like not even that long ago, that people were holding things like iPads. Like, that's crazy.
Pretty
like,
cool.
that's the
and
future.
we take that, you're right, and we do take that for granted. But I want to...
And now we go, it's stupid. It's like, no, it's amazing.
There's a Louis C.K. sketch from, I think, one of last year's specials of his, where he talks about how, like, everything is awesome.
Yeah.
And nobody's
Like
happy.
cell phones and
like
airplanes.
I was in an airplane, and like they announced for the first time we have Wi-Fi on this airplane, and it's all like, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. And then the guy next to me is using the thing, and then the announcement comes out about halfway into the flight, like, sorry, the Wi-Fi is having some technical difficulties. We have to turn it off. And the guy's like, it's fucking stupid. And he's like, how can you be mad about something that 10 minutes ago you didn't even know existed? Like, how? We're flying on a chair through space. It's an incredible miracle. And you're just like, man, it won't come from it's coming from space, man. Can you just give it a second? Like, it's awesome.
So
nobody's happy with technology.
Yeah.
So
it's never enough.
So the Next Gen Connect, I find exciting because I think when the hype that surrounded the first Gen Connect fell flat when they released the product for me. But the hype is still there. I'm still an excited little kid about the potential for what I think that will do. The controller, super excited about it. I can't remember who mentioned it, but
Rumble buttons.
Well, no, the Xbox controller is awesome.
Yeah.
And everybody I've talked to said this is even better, so I'm super excited about that.
Apparently they fixed the one big thing is that if you play with the wireless one, it's got a big bulging back that's a battery pack, and now they've integrated the battery pack in.
Yeah.
So it's not completely flush, but it's like almost that, so it's a lot lighter. And then everybody says that they've messed with the D-pad, which everyone thought sucked, so they made that good. And then they changed, not only did they put little rumbles in the triggers, which sounds stupid, but apparently is cooler than it sounds, they also changed the way that you squeeze those. So now they're a little bit more, like, you can, what's the word I'm looking for? They're a little bit more analog in how you can press them.
Pressure sensitive.
Pressure sensitive. They're a little bit more pressure sensitive.
Didn't the PlayStation 2 have, like, where you could tell if you were pushing it harder?
Yeah, I think the PS3 does that, but the Xbox doesn't. I know the Wii doesn't.
No, the Xbox does, definitely.
The Xbox
Yeah,
does?
because like for racing games, you can go like...
You can go like that, yeah.
But maybe they improved
it,
the sensitivity
apparently
of it.
they did, yeah.
I still think it would have been cool if they put the analog buttons on the bottom instead of the side where you have to, like, meh. You know
So
what I mean? I remember seeing a mod
XY.
like 5 years ago where someone's like, yeah, you took the buttons and put them on the bottom of
so
the
you never have to move your thumbs.
Exactly.
So then there's the box itself.
Oh, weird.
Which I think it looks cool, but it's
like an Xbox One.
It's a box.
I mean, the old Xbox.
Yeah,
it's like the old fucking.
I'm with you. But even the old Xbox, this is funny. The old Xbox had a giant X in the plastic design. This is literally just a box, and I appreciate what they did. If you look closely at it, there's actually a checkerboard pattern to it. So there's like a matte finish on two corners and then a gloss finish on two others. So I think that's cool. I like that there's a little LED. It's black and white. There's a little LED white light. Here's what I think I have to say. I'm sorry, Microsoft marketing. I just think is so dumb. Don't try and sell it to be cooler than it is. Yeah. You've made a box, and that's fine. That's fine. Nobody's going to complain about that. People weren't looking for this thing to be a piece of art. If it's functional, great. But Microsoft has this whole line where they've said now, oh, it's got beautifully clean horizontal lines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? You're trying to sell a box as being beautiful?
I wonder how long it took them to design that in CAD.
I know, right? So probably quite a while, actually, I would guess.
One thing that's kind of interesting to me, and you mentioned it with Rise, but initially Rise was meant to be a full-on Kinect game, that like the Kinect games that we have now, which Sean's mentioned a few times that he doesn't like because he doesn't want to come home from work and stand in front of a TV and flail around.
I just never want to stand.
But I reading the stuff about Rise now, apparently they've changed it so that it's a better with Kinect game. And that's kind of one of the things that I think I've been looking forward to is more games that are utilizing Kinect in maybe more of a passive way and not a, like, I have to stand in front of it and do exercise and whatever. Like,
screw that.
I'm just interested in seeing what developers are going to do with Kinect as a passive device that's always on that they know everybody always has.
I think the one area that is just a gigantic disappointment to me, and I know you guys are going to laugh at this, is the backwards compatibility. And it's only because I'm the type of person that wants to experience something more than once. So not all games, definitely not all games, but I don't sell games. I buy the game and then I hang on to it and think, one day if I get time I'll go back to it. But there are certain games I know I will go back to. I will go back to Portal 2. I will play Minecraft again. And this idea
that was vibrating so loud.
This idea that all of the, particularly the arcade games that I've collected,
sucks.
aren't going to be playable now. So here's the funny thing to me is Microsoft's whole mission, their entire mission is, we want you to have one box in your living room. Oh, but you know what? You can't be backwards compatible, which requires you to have a 360 as well. So guess what? 2 boxes now. So it should be called the Xbox 2.
Can you plug the Xbox 360 into the one so that it all goes placed?
Do you mean Xbox? Do you mean Xbox 2 TOO?
Didn't one of you guys post up the thing that Don Mattingly said that one? Don Matrix said that.
Player?
Yeah,
Don
that
Mattingly?
if you like backwards compatibility, you're an asshole.
Backwards. No, he said if you like backwards compatibility is backwards.
It is.
And he did say that
they're never going to use it.
Only 15%.
You don't care.
Only
5.
15%.
5%.
5% of people care about that, and I'm in the 5. Because
what were you going to do with your Xbox anyways? Just
my 360?
Yeah, you still going to have that. You
Put
have
in your
2 of them,
bedroom.
don't you?
No, I have 1.
You have 1. What are you going to do with that 1? You're going to throw it away? Keep it. Play all your stupid games on it.
But that's the point. I don't want to have. I don't want to have another thing in my house. That's what's attractive about it. I want to have one.
It's not going to matter.
Box.
It's just not going to matter in 2 years.
Completely disagree with you. I still to this day play Halo 2, which was an Xbox One. OG
You
Xbox.
are the 5%.
OG Xbox game. I play old Xbox games on the 360.
But what they're going to do is they're going to do the same thing that like PlayStation does and re-release
They'll put it
them
on their
online
system,
somehow.
yeah.
Or another thing I will say that Sony is getting right, if they get the Gaikai thing running and they do like a Netflix-esque service where I'm paying monthly to just play any PlayStation game ever that they have the rights to, like, I'm in for that.
I'm in because I don't have enough attention span or time to play a game all the way through.
Yeah.
So I'd be cool with like, yeah, I'll rent that and play.
That's
it for a
my
little
thing.
while.
I've realized that my killer feature right now is I am so used to iOS and that way of delivering games, and I pretty much exclusively played XBLA games anyways before that. The killer feature for me is a game that doesn't require me to go to a stupid Best Buy to buy the dumb game. And Sony so far has done the best job. I guess Sony and Nintendo actually have done such a great job of saying, hey, day and date, where do you want to buy BioShock? What do you want to buy it on? You just want to buy it on your Xbox? Well, no, not on your Xbox. On your PS3, just go buy it. And you know what? We'll offer you a deal because you're a subscriber. We'll give you $10 off.
Yeah, whatever. We don't have to print it and shit. So
yeah,
fucking buy
and
it cheap.
that stops me from trading it in. That stops me, and I don't keep games. I trade in games instantly, and the convenience alone makes me go like, yeah, I hate going to stores and buying games, especially when I can get them instantly. And I think whoever nails that like totally has me for life.
I don't understand why they wouldn't. I mean, everyone's buying these games anyway, and they're buying them early release, pre-bought, so they can get it on the day that it's released from Amazon. What if you could just fucking buy it that day and play it immediately at midnight?
You're gonna miss out and stand in line with all those other sweaty dudes.
Money.
But that's my other thing about it is
that's still an option.
Yeah.
But 500 gigs too. Little disappointed.
Yep.
Really could have been a terabyte.
Yep.
You know, like really, like 500 gigs. That's all we've gotten.
But you
to?
can buy a terabyte for super cheap and plug it in.
So that's the next thing I wanted to talk about.
Is it an SSD or is it
a
platter?
No.
So it's a platter.
It's
so
a platter.
Fucking
But-
put 3 terabytes in it.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Well, price point. They want to. I guarantee you, this thing. Their whole thing is they
500
want
to a
this
terabyte though is like not a big price point.
double.
No,
you
it's
think
not.
Not when how many like it. That's if I bought a single by myself. I bought one hard drive. Microsoft might buy. I don't know. Maybe a couple more than one.
So
You think they maybe get a little discount?
Maybe 12.
possibly. So
Or just get kids to make it somewhere.
But
Fine.
Jay's right. So the Xbox does support external storage.
Yeah.
Plug shit in. Like you have a cable sticking out. Like
More
that's
stuff
dumb.
hanging off.
I mean,
That
the
one
thing,
clean box.
The thing's pretty ugly. So,
But think
I could
about
stick something
let's think about what you're talking about. What if you
Some
had
dreadlocks.
What if you had the ability to? I never want to have a disc. I only want this App Store thing, and I want or Games on Demand or whatever we're going to call it, and I want to say I want to download this game the day it comes out, and I only want to have a library.
No,
of
you
digital
have
content.
to do that with Xbox One. That's what they're saying. Is like even if you buy all your games at a store, you have to store
I
them.
know. I'm saying
matter what.
now. If the idea of that this could be an expandable thing, we don't know this for a fact, but it does support external media, which means can I now have, does 500 gigs matter? Maybe not. Maybe it's, I can now have as many hard drives as I want to possibly plug in.
Why
and alternate
would?
them.
Like that sounds great, but why wouldn't you just start it off with more? Like, sure, I
price
can
point.
I know, and I'm telling you, there is no way.
And what is the price point?
We don't know yet.
They haven't announced
They
it?
haven't announced.
I think they're going to subsidize it too. I think they're going to. That's going to be their big
Guaranteed.
things. They're going to come out. They're going to undercut everybody, including Nintendo. They're going to go, our system's going for $200 with a 2-year subscription to Xbox Live, and that's what they're going to go. But something they said that was really cool about Xbox Live. Your Xbox Live Gold subscription that you have now works on Xbox One and Xbox 360.
Yeah,
at the same time.
So let's.
So you're telling me the price point of $90 per 2 terabytes with deals that Microsoft is
you
getting.
You just looked it up, $90.
Well, I'm just assuming.
So a 500 gig external WD My Passport is like $60, and a 1 terabyte's like $75.
Okay, so $15 for one.
But they're making deals with hardware manufacturers to
Yeah.
get them cheaper in bulk and all this stuff. Like, really?
Why couldn't you just offer one that had more?
There's got to be a business reason there. I'm not sure they were like, you know what, we could make this cooler, but let's not. What if Sean's right? What if Sean says the cost of this thing is going to be $350,
Sure.
and we're going to release it for $200. We're going to eat $150 per console when this thing comes out. And then they looked at it and they said, with a terabyte, it was going to cost $370. That's $20 more a console that we have to lose, and we're going to have 100 million consoles sold.
Not my problem.
Right, but it is a business decision. You're asking for a reason.
Offer a bigger one. Offer different.
And they
sizes.
might.
That we don't know. They might.
Yeah, but
and they've never been at the forefront of storage.
Yeah.
It's always been Sony. Like, Sony has a 500 gig Xbox or PS3 right now, and Microsoft's topped at 250.
Especially when you start talking about like okay, this thing can do 4K content.
Yeah.
Like, okay, am I going to
We
download
even just
that?
Blu-ray discs. A Blu-ray
Yeah.
disc can hold 50 gigs.
Yeah.
That's so. How many games can you put on that?
But like
You know?
as an announcement point, like this thing's gonna have 500. It's like, okay, like that literally like that's that's just like such a weird, like non-impressive anything.
Couple other quick things I want to mention. So the idea of a Blu-ray disc, we don't know. We assume the games are going to be a Blu-ray disc, right?
Yeah.
So what that meant to me is, those games that like Mass Effect or Skyrim that take like, hey, you put 130 hours into this game. Or in my case, for Mass Effect 2, 170 hours.
Are you talking about having an even bigger game?
Now
because
you've
there's
got
more space?
Now you've got what?
As
6
long as
times
you
the
don't
amount
get-
of storage
As long as
on
you
a
don't
disc?
get to the end of the game and
PS3's
have
had
to
that
put
forever,
disc
right?
1 back in, because that was
That's true.
fucking retarded in Mass Effect 3. It's like, hey, you're about to do the very last thing in the game. How about you put the first disc back in, you jag off?
I don't think that would work. Mainly, it's just storage space because of graphics.
Well, yeah.
Well,
exactly.
I know what
they'll fill it up with polys.
What
yeah.
Sony was doing with theirs was they were just copying the same content on the disc, so that the laser, they were like, man, we can speed this up if the laser doesn't have to move. So we'll just make sure that everything's duplicated, so that no matter where the laser was, the information it was looking for was just like right next to it.
Right. So let's go around real quick and say, can we all agree that this is
The best thing ever.
that this is not no one was blown away by the announcement? There's some of us that'll get it, some of us that won't, some of us that'll wait.
I was blown away by the name.
In a good way?
Changing. No.
Right.
Just like, really?
I'm talking
Okay.
about, so nobody was like floored in a great way by either the PS4 announcement or the Xbox.
But
Is that true?
name one announcement that you guys have been blown away by. One console announcement.
Sega Dreamcast.
Console.
Really?
So
I don't remember. It was
yeah, I was
a long
about to
time
say,
ago.
you were like 6. Because I'd say the Wii.
was 13.
The Wii console, the Wii controller reveal was the only crazy thing that I've ever seen where I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know what it was going to be. This is outrageous. Now my brain's going. Every other console announcement to me I've never been blown away. I've just been like, oh, so it's going to be faster and look better and play all the games? Great. This is just something you do.
Not all the games.
So let's talk about, for a second, let's go around and say what maybe were you expecting? What would you have wanted to see? If this was going to be like the console that you wanted, not necessarily like, oh, I wanted to wax my car, but like something that you could have legitimately seen in today's technology, like where we're at with today's technology, what would you have liked to have seen? You want me to start it off?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I am surprised that given how much they're pushing for this one thing in the living room, that they legitimately didn't look into home automation through the Xbox. Now, you think about all the peripheries, stuff that you can buy, plugs now, light bulbs, thermostats, things that you can interact with in a digital sense that have totally been analog that control your home. The idea that you could have, with smart glass, I can use my phone to hook up to my Xbox and I can say, turn the lights on, start the oven, do this and that. I know those things sound a little bit sci-fi, but certainly
It's not sci-fi at all. It's just more of like...
The oven, I've not heard of that one.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But your super fridge that you talked about.
No, that thing needs to be monitored by a person. It's dangerous.
This idea that we legitimately have things right now that are home automated, the lights, things of that nature. The idea that they didn't put that in there to some degree, or think at least in terms of, I don't agree with that because it's current right now. The Nest thermostat is current right now.
Totally current. Too soon in terms of population and needs. Just like the 5% of backwards compatibility, that is like a 0.5% of the population that has the Philips LED ones that actually change, that have the interaction.
You gotta admit, though, how awesome would it be to see the timer counting down on your pizza puff that are in the microwave while you're in front of your Xbox?
But here's my having question: to get up to go get the Tostino pizza rolls.
While I agree with you that currently, that if Microsoft had said, "Hey, we have a special type of thing, or this is a special Wi-Fi thing that devices can hook up to, and now you can control devices from your Xbox," I guarantee you there would have been an explosion of interest from hardware manufacturers, from device manufacturers.
100%.
It would have exploded that particular technology, that interest area.
Here's a quick question though. So now these devices that I can already control with my smartphone, I'm going to put my Xbox into the middle of that device.
Yeah, because you have to have different apps to control. So this is, again, the idea is Xbox One area you go to control your living room.
And I can totally see that
Xbone.
Later though.
Not
again, 100%. It would be cool.
The X2,
but again, minute amount of people that have that to where I think the buzz is already out there. Will you reach more people with the buzz by doing that? Sure, but for it to be economically feasible and all that other stuff, yeah, I can see that maybe the next two consoles down the road, in totally incorporating all that stuff.
The only other thing that I thought was there was a rumor that we read that there was talks of Microsoft having some sort of virtual reality glasses or goggles or something that they were working on. It was totally a rumor, but it was supposed to be an Oculus Rift type of thing. And while I didn't expect that per se, I certainly expected them to push not just, hey, here's a new Kinect, but here's something else. Here's something else to make it immersive, whether it's VR goggles or some other.
Even that Illumaroom thing.
Yeah, the Illumaroom. That's
exactly.
That's probably one of the things that would have made me go, this is weird. Pretty cool. And the other thing, there's not really much for me that would have made me change my mind. I don't know really what I was looking for in a new console. Actually, I forgot what I was going to say, so somebody move on.
No, I would say that the big thing for me in looking at it, and this is especially true with Apple, is that I think I've grown to kind of like the non-gimmicky sort of evolutionary updates of they're just hey, Connect, we made it a lot better. Hey, we were trying to be a home media PC, we're going to try and do that a lot better. As much as it wasn't as exciting to watch, it was very exciting to know that, oh, cool, so this thing's just going to be iterated on and updated. I think down the line I'm going to be much happier with that than I would have been with an Illumaroom thing, which I would have used once and been that's crazy, and then I never would have turned that on again.
I would use that all the time.
Totally, I totally would too. I think it seems awesome.
I think it sounds really cool, but it's got to be used. It's my same thing with the Kinect and with the Wii. Is the Wii is awesome if people spent time and actually made games for the Wii, like Wii Sports. If everything for the Wii was as cool as Wii Sports was, I would play the Wii all the time. The problem is nobody gives a shit about it. And I'm talking developers. And that's my biggest problem is the Illumaroom would be the same thing. There would be one Halo game that Microsoft would put all their effort into, and it would be fucking amazing. And then Ubisoft would do an Assassin's Creed, and it would be the gimmickiest little a bird flying. And I'd be like, why am I waiting until my wife goes to bed, turning off all my lights for this stupid thing?
True.
I'd buy it, but it would suck.
The one thing that gets me to be yes about it is the fact it's something that I don't have to interact or deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, it's literally just immersing me more. Like while the Kinect being like gimmicky, the Kinect is meant to be moving around, and it's something where it's just like, what happens if I threw my shoulder out and I can't fucking grab it and stretch now because I'm in a sling? Like, what am I going to do? Unless like the aluminum thing, makes me feel like I'm, more part of the scene. So that's why for me, I think it would be just fucking awesome. But like the one thing too, people were saying, and even like you guys, that you would have liked to see this, you would have liked to see this, and stuff like that. I'm sure they didn't want to blow their load because they have to present in 19 more days. Another presentation with this. So it's just like we have to just basically give you this kind of tease. And they did it within like an hour as opposed to this 4-hour presentation.
And
like
they
Sony
have
did.
said that they have they're not mind blowing. They said they have a really big surprise coming at E3 for the 360.
Yeah.
And that they're going to continue the 360 and that it's by no means dead the way that the Wii is gone.
Watch, Illumaroom is only for
It's
the 360.
Well, so this is my thought on the 360. And also, they said that there's a big Rare IP that's coming back that looks like his Killer Instinct is going to be a launch title.
That's been rumored for like the last 5 years.
But apparently Rare came out and said, expect something like that now. But I think the 360 might be, because the one thing I was expecting that they didn't do is, remember there was this rumor about there was going to be a $100 Xbox that wasn't going to have a disk drive, that was going to be like an XBLA machine. I have a feeling that box is the new 360. And they're going to announce, what would it be? It would be a 3rd gen 360 that's tiny like an Apple TV, has no optical drive, has maybe a big hard drive, and it's $100 and it's aimed, this is for playing, fun little XBLA games and anything you can download and watching Netflix, and it's going to try and compete with Apple TV and maybe Ouya and Roku more than it is with PS3 or something.
There's one other thing I forgot, which is regardless of anything I thought was a shoe-in, was DVR.
They were really cagey on it because it seemed like it kind of is there and kind of isn't.
You can do game capture,
which is really cool. The way that they have it set up where there's magic moments that a developer can, if hey, a character's about to get his 10th headshot, the developer can turn on your DVR on the game and start recording, knowing that when you get it, it's going to save it automatically for you, which is pretty badass.
Have fun with your 500 gig hard drive.
But this, this idea of we want to be the one box in the living room and you can do TV through it. Well, again, one box. You got to have your DVR. That's a major staple of most American households.
Box. They really do have to.
You don't necessarily, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine that they've made enough deals with cable companies.
Yeah. Exactly. I bet
box.
it's like right now it's only with, who was he say he was with? Like Cox Cable or something?
It's whoever I think is the Seattle one they always get because then they can download
Comcast. Is it Comcast? Yeah, I bet you Comcast will be the only one you can do that TV thing on right now.
And it's US, the whole TV thing is US only as
I doubt like DirecTV or Dish or who knows if Time Warner or whatever is even part of that group.
I don't know. If they do that, they really need to knock it out of the park, or else it's gonna fucking suck.
And you just said doo-doo.
Do. They gotta need to do their due diligence.
The one thing I did remember that I wanted to say is, and this is like completely arbitrary, but if they were to announce that like Xbox Live was now a free thing, and there was like PlayStation Plus, like a tier that you could pay for, but you still had access to other things, I might consider that, because I'm not a big multiplayer gamer, but when I do want to play, I can go on PSN. On Xbox Live, I feel like I'd be wasting my money for Live just to have it when I want it, which is not that often.
That's interesting, because I'm not a multiplayer gamer hardly at all, and I have Live, and I'm not sure
because you need Live if you want to do Hulu, Netflix, HBO Go, all those things.
Well, I have
what's funny is
TV that does that for me.
Yeah, it's funny if you think about it. There's plenty of I'm the same way. I just thought about it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's totally worth it because I do Netflix all the time through that. I'm like, yeah, but there's about 60 devices in my home that can do Netflix for free.
Randy and I were sitting down one night, and I came to the conclusion that we had a little over 10 devices within arm's reach that could do Netflix, or within 3 steps. We had an Xbox, a Wii U, a Wii, a PlayStation 3, 2 iPhones, 2 iPads, 2 laptops, and a Blu-ray player. We had 11
Do you have a smart TV?
devices. No. It's the one thing we were missing. We had 11 devices
probably upgrade.
within reach. Yeah, so I'm going to buy it. Oh, and did I say Apple TV? And Apple TV, so that's 12. 12 devices that can do Netflix and Hulu. And as of now, I think they can all do HBO Go now.
Sean.
Nothing.
Josh, anything else?
Did I say everything? I think I said everything.
Adam, anything? Revolutionary?
Wait, so can we just do just down the line, not day one, but within a year or so of it being out, who's going to be buying one?
I will.
Yeah, you can't raise your hand at him because this is an audio podcast.
In 3D, by the way.
Since when?
What's really sad is you raised your hand and then I did too.
That's the part I noticed. I did it
because we know Pekka's answer.
I honestly have no idea. I
Okay.
think right now my deciding factor would be how well the Plex app is applied and integrated into this thing.
So wait, then let's
I have
change
so
this
many
to
other things that do all of these things. I don't know.
So
when
is
I'm
it?
gonna need it.
Let's change it to Xbox One, PS4, both or neither.
I like that, just slow.
Because
exhale.
you were saying it like you wouldn't get the Xbox, but you'd get one of them, right? Like you're going to get something.
Yeah, I'd probably.
You're gonna buy. You're gonna spend money, right?
Yeah,
you
you are an American.
I would probably get the Xbox before the PS4.
Okay.
PS4.
Xbox.
Yeah, I'm pre-ordering the Xbox One.
I probably will too.
I'm on the fence.
Come to the dark side, Kearney.
I don't know.
Just you and Jay.
I will know by
all
the
of your
end of
friends
E3.
in here except
PlayStation Plus
said they're going 360.
Indie
So all of your friends in here.
Yeah.
So you just
Blurry
mostly
box.
work with
Yep.
them.
There's a blurry box
You got
picture of it online. All right, if you want to see what it looks like, watch that teaser video. And it's
you want-
blurry, and there's some
Talk
edges.
to me after E3.
I will say this. I do wholeheartedly agree. You said 2 months ago, or whatever it was, when PS4 came out early and it was no shebang at all, and you said that's because they had to come early because Microsoft's was going to be bigger and better. I don't think we hit this, but Microsoft's certainly was better only in that
It was shorter.
it was shorter.
It was informative.
It was
Yeah.
more
It was more
informative. You
informative.
saw the
How is it more informative?
Because you actually know what you're getting,
Yeah.
as
You know
opposed
the
to
specs, you know the
as
box,
opposed
you
to
know
a
the
But
controller.
you know all of that with the PS4 except what it looks like. That's it. That's all you don't know is what it
You
looks
have
like.
no idea how it works.
How am I
it's
gonna
all
match
created
my
in
room?
There's a lot of
Nothing.
You don't know how it
Nothing.
works. You put a fucking
Hold on a
disc
second.
in your
Hold on a
goddamn
second.
game.
How does Gaikai work on day one? How is that going to work?
I don't know. It's on the fucking system.
Yeah. What does it do? What does it even do?
You get to play PS3 games.
Oh, really? Day one, you get to do that, or is that just their dream for the future? Because that's what it sounded to me like.
I don't know.
Shut up.
One thing you guys should check out is on the you excluded from this on the Xbox homepage. There's the introducing the Xbox One, and if you go in there, there's a bunch of like, hey, this is what it is, blah blah blah. There's a video section. If you go into the video section, it's all the videos that were shown in the reveal as well as the whole reveal itself. But at the very bottom, there's a GT TV. I can't remember the guy's name now.
Jeff Kiley?
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Jeff Kiley goes around and he goes into the lab where they made the controller. He goes and he sees all of the machines that have pneumatic button presses that have been doing this for over a year.
Stress test.
Yeah, stress testing. And he's like, yeah, we put the controller in, and usually these things they can handle about 20 million hits before they go down. He's like, we've been doing this for over a year, and none of our controllers have gone down yet. And so there's all these cool things about.
That's the wrong test. They need to throw it against the wall.
They
in
made that
anger
exact. They made
500
that
times
exact
in a row.
joke. They made that joke.
Those videos sound really interesting.
Says the guy who wrote a white paper on water physics as
I
it
didn't
relates
write it. I
to
read
video
it.
games.
I read it.
You read it aloud on a video.
I did. No, that does sound interesting.
But so there's
the water video
it's
or
both.
It's an 18-minute video, and they go into
it's too long.
They go, you guys are such a difficult audience sometimes. They go into the controller stuff. They go in and meet the two lead designers of the new Kinect, and they go in and they talk to them, and you get a lot more detail and information about all that stuff.
Does the lead designer look like he hasn't slept for 25 years?
Yes.
Okay, good.
But my favorite part of that little video is when they go into the controller lab, and the guy he's like this really well-dressed kind of like proper fun little Indian guy, and he's the lead, and he goes and he's talking about, we tried all kinds of fun things with the controller.
That's not how he talked.
We even tried putting a touchscreen on the top of the thing, but then that was a dumb idea because who wants to do this the whole time?
What is that in reference to?
thought that was pretty funny.
The Wii?
Wii U.
Oh, is it?
It wasn't to the PlayStation.
I know. I was like, there is a touchpad. But,
There's one other thing I wanted to mention that I can't take credit for. This was in Gadget. One of the editors from Gadget had this comment, which is he was really floored that there wasn't a. I guess there's a really common. I can't remember. Weemi or something. Weavy, something like that. That's a. Allows you to stream. It's an open source standard that allows you to stream video feeds wirelessly. And he was shocked that there wasn't the ability for the Xbox to stream video just like the Wii U to a device. Mainly, like, let's say the Surface.
Yeah.
So you could buy a Surface and you could say, oh, my wife comes in, she wants to watch a show.
Yeah.
I can still play. Just like it's the same thing with the Wii U, except tie that into the Surface.
He
was shocked.
They
that
really
didn't do that.
dropped the ball on that. Like, that seemed to be something that they were aiming towards with Smart Glass and stuff. And all they said was, oh, no, Smart Glass will be cool. Oh, you can control this with your phone, but no detail.
But I mean, the nice part about the Wii U's thing is it's a full joystick.
You'd
have to like put up your Surface and then get your controller, and now I mean,
you have to find a way to like connect the controller to your whatever.
No, well, the whole idea of the Wii is that it's the console's doing it the whole time.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. But
you
wouldn't
have a
want to do it
controller
on
that.
You know, like if you wouldn't want to play Call of Duty on a touchpad.
No, I think the guy was saying is if you like just like you had, hey, I'm just going to set my screen up here on this thing, and then I'm going to bust out my controller and I'm playing it. What's really happening is I'm pinging that and I'm hitting it back here.
Yeah.
But one last thing that Nintendo did not go silent through all of this. Nintendo did a Nintendo Direct, and one of the things they announced, which is pretty cool, is they're partnering with Best Buy, and over the course of E3, you're going to be able to go to certain Best Buys and play a lot of their unreleased games that they're going to be on the show floor.
Oh, cool.
You're going to be able to play those at Best Buy, so anybody at specific Best Buys in probably major cities, but still pretty neat.
It's only LA.
It's only LA.
And
it's at the convention center
100.
in a booth.
It's only a Best Buy booth they're setting up at E3.
And one last thing is the Ouya booth. I read that the Ouya booth at E3 is actually going to be in the parking lot.
Yeah, I did see
How
that.
hilarious is that?
I did see that.
Come on.
So that everybody can come experience it.
Come on.
So any other impressions, things you want to discuss for the Xbox One?
Yeah, I do a wicked John
dumb.
Travolta impression.
Okay.
Hey, Sandy, it's me, John Travolta.
That's fucking horrible.
Christopher Walken?
Hey,
Put some Christopher Walken in there.
hey,
Mr. Carter.
Mr. Carter, Mr. Jason Carter.
Oh, jeez.
Aren't you doing our sign-offs now?
Jeez.
All right, this has been Nerdtastic in 3D. I'm John Travolta.
Adam McFarlane.
Doesn't sound anything.
It really sounds like Christopher
like
Walken.
it.
Hey, Mr. Carter, just say your name and let's move on.
My name is Jason Carter.
I'm Josh Lebrotz.
Jason Pecco.
My name. Pronounced many different ways. Well, one way that you could pronounce it, if you really wanted to. Sean Fennell.
And I'm Sean Kearney. And this is Nerdtastic in 3D.
Nerdtastic in 3D.